Okay, so to start off with, we always need to have a cake. So the cake that I'm doing today, I've got a few cakes that I need to put fondant on. I've got another 2-tier wedding cake that's going out tomorrow. This one's going out tomorrow as well. This is going to be an AFL jersey. To prep it, it is a vanilla butter cake with one layer of vanilla buttercream in the middle, and it is coated with white chocolate ganache. Saying that we're in Queensland, I don't put buttercream underneath my fondant as they do in some American states and that sort of thing, because it's a lot cooler. Because of the heat, it is best to use ganache. For me, some people use dark chocolate ganache, I use white chocolate ganache. I just find it easier. If I get some on the white, use the dark chocolate ganache, it might ruin the white fondant. I'm a bit messy sometimes. So yeah, this has been coated yesterday and then put in the fridge to firm up, and then I brought it out today. My air conditioner I put on dry to stop the humidity, cool and dry. That will help you work your fondant and not be all sticky. Yeah. Oh, and in between the white chocolate ganache and the fondant, I put sugar syrup. I always have sugar syrup in the fridge. It's also handy for margaritas. But I use it to syrup my cakes, as well as before I put the fondant on my dark chocolate ganache decorated cakes. Okay, I put that on with a pastry brush. Just I always make sure before I use it, is there any loose bristles? I change this quite regularly and throw it away. It's just so it just gets a little bit tattery, and after I pull out so many bristles, there's not much left. So I keep that quite new, probably every 3 months. Rolling pin. I've tried lots and lots of different ones. This is my favorite. It's like a silicone plastic sort of one. I've got that one, and then also a smaller one that I use for my cookies or smaller fondant things. But I use this big one to roll out my fondant. And when you're rolling out, I use corn flour, and this is full of corn flour, but if I need to just give it a little bit of a dusting, I have my little bag of corn flour. It just gives it a really light dusting. The other thing I like to use is, you'll always, it's very rare that you won't. If anyone knows how not to, let me know. You'll get air bubbles in your fondant. So always have some pins on hand. I like to use these ones because I can see them and I don't get them lost, and they don't end up where they're not meant to be. I think I've had that since I started caking. We've got our smoothers. Very, very handy. They're the ones that I like to use. I've also tried a few different ones, the ones that have the right angle and stuff, but these are the ones that I prefer. And get into the side of the cake, give it a good smooth. It's long enough so you don't get ridges on the side of the cake where the fondant is. And I think this will probably be the last one. When I have the fondant on and it's all smooth and ready to go, I use my sharp knife to cut around. Very sharp knife. Some people use a pizza cutter. Yeah, people do it in all different ways. You just have to find which way is best for you. And this is my favorite. And I think that's about it. Oh, this is the fondant that I use. It's my favorite for covering the larger cakes. So this is the white fondant. And I also use the satin ice coloured fondant for smaller things, but I also will use it for large cakes if they needed to be covered in coloured fondant. Can be quite expensive, so unfortunately when I do fondant cakes and they're coloured, I have to charge more because this can be quite pricey. I've got it in every single colour. It's nice to be able to mix the colours. Just using the gel colours, I used to do this. I used to put it into the white fondant. There'd be gel colour everywhere, so now it's just easier to buy it, mix them. If I do need to add just the tiniest little bit of gel colour, I will, which today I might for the stripes on the jersey. I've got a blue fondant. I'll mix it with a little bit of the black to get that sort of navy colour, but I may need to add like maybe a little bit of gel to get the right colour, the right tone. Okay, so all my tools are sitting there ready to go. Preparation prevents piss poor performance. Yeah, 5. The 5 P's. So always make sure you've got everything ready before you go. Syrup up your cake. Actually, before you syrup your cake, get your fondant nice and kneaded. Like knead it and knead it, and get it nice and soft. That's one of the keys to not getting elephant skin and it tearing, is to get it nice and soft. This weather, it's really hot here today, it won't take long. In winter, I even like put it in the microwave for like 15-second bursts just to get it a little bit warmer. You've got to be really careful with that. But yeah, it'll be quite easy to work with today. So yeah, so I'll syrup my cake, get my fondant kneaded, syrup my cake, and then we'll roll out the fondant and put it on. Make sure we haven't got any air bubbles, and then we'll get our smoothers, smooth it out, make sure it's all smooth, make sure all the edges are nice and sharp, and then we will cut around the edges, and then it will be time to just let it sit for a little bit. We just want the white fondant to harden, and then we'll add the edible images and the stripes and the stitching around the collar and that sort of thing. And yeah, looking forward to it finished. Thanks. I hope you're enjoying my first video. It was quite nerve-wracking, but thanks for listening.